All right, item 10, for discussion possible action, Mesquite Chamber of Commerce is asking the Virgin Valley Water District consider allowing community value message added to the freeway tank at no cost to the district. Let's see, Sandra.
This thing's like a piece of dead driftwood, it keeps washing
Boy,
up on the
this
beach.
How many times do we have to say no?
You know, if I may, I mean, it isn't the fact that they're asking the district to bear any costs, they're not asking the city to bear any costs. The whole idea is if they find someone, and it's always been approved, but the idea from the city and the water district, that if somebody came forward, the water district's gonna have to approve if they do it or don't do it. And so
I'm
if
in
they have,
100% agreement that we should work with the chamber to put, if they wanna put something up there, I was just being a smart aleck. So I'm all for it. So. I said smart aleck just so it wouldn't go on record. The correct term, probably.
All right, Mr. Rock?
Blake Syndergaard is here from the Chamber of Commerce to let the board know what they're working on, and take your questions. And thank you, Sandy, for introducing us.
We need
We
to
have
see
it.
some identification.
Yeah, I found it.
Oh,
I
okay.
had my identification, Blake Syndergaard with the Mesquite Chamber. You get me tonight, sorry. Yeah, I agree. This has come up a couple of times and then it just keeps coming back, just kind of like driftwood. It originally, I believe, was given to the Economic Commission Committee last year. And with it being sunsetted, the chamber still wanted to take action in some sort of, something that would describe Mesquite and, you know, let people know kind of a little bit about who we are. And, you know, I've had conversations, as a matter of fact, I was actually sitting in a business today and I went, hey, you can actually see it from here. I didn't realize that you could actually see it from all different places in town, but you really can. And what would be nice is the chamber has gone out to try to find somebody seeking some funds from somebody or certain group of people that would be willing to pay for a display of something that would recognize or allow us to be recognized as Mesquite. And so what the chamber is asking is that we be able to have a design, be able to present it, be able to also have the sign or the message be approved by the city through the sign ordinance. But we would like to take we'd like to take the action to be able to put a sign or have the opportunity to have our funders have a design.
You're talking about something non-advertising, something that promotes the city of Mesquite or tourism.
It's a
or-
value, it's to promote Mesquite, it would be
Along
nice.
those lines, Blake, my only concern, and like I said before to Sandra, I'm 100% for this. I think it's a great thing you're doing. I hope you can get off the ground. But with the allowing the sign, you know, the maintenance of it's going to be important too. Because if you drive through Needles, California, you can see what a lack of maintenance on a sign on a water tank would do.
Right.
So.
And I think that
Matches the community.
it matches Needles.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Who knew there was a Rotary Club out in Bly, you know, we find the darndest things out in that area. I believe that, you know, the sign will create value, you know, obviously to the community, to describe the community. I think that as I travel, and I'm just one person, I'm not, you know, speaking for everybody that drives up and down interstates, but usually when you see something on a water tower or a tank or something, and you do take a look to see what it is, and a lot of times it is what represents the city. I think that because of the cost, and we do have a group that is looking at, you know, the costs of what it would cost. They're trying to get some of their costs under control to see what it would cost them, but they are enthusiastic to be able to put something up there that would represent the city, which would mean that the same group would probably be somebody that would continually invest in that as well. So, and if not, hopefully there would be another time that the chamber could come out to a group of people and say, hey, you know, what now? I mean, it could be anything from, you know, gaming and golfing to Gold Butte and ATVing, you know, it just, if the seasons change, maybe another group would be willing to do it, but where it's no cost to the Virgin Valley Water District, and it represents and promotes the city, I think that it could be a good thing. It could be win-win all the way around.
Maybe. Mr. President, our attorney here has something that he might just caution the chamber to be aware of.
Okay.
Well, I'm totally in favor of what you guys are doing, not that my opinion matters on that, but, the one thing I wanna be careful about, and I think I've mentioned this in a prior meeting when this came up before, I don't know I just asked Ken, what is this group? Cause I had understood, I think, at least I understood this agenda item, that the chamber was doing it just as a benefit for the community as a whole. If we start getting a private entity involved, a private commercial entity involved, that has some marketing or commercial objective in placing this on the tank, that's where we start running into First Amendment issues of us opening a forum for free speech, and if that's commercial speech, then in the future, some other person comes along and they want to use that for free speech, we cannot say that it's okay for this commercial purpose, but not for this commercial purpose. So my caution to the board is this, if the board decides to do it, which I think is great, a great idea, it needs to be a promotion of Mesquite and not a, hey, this is,
Advertisement.
yeah, because then,
Right.
you know,
And I actually agree, because, you know, if we had, you know, like I said, if it was gaming and we had the casinos involved, then you would be promoting all of the casinos in town, and then it would be a commercial advertisement for the casinos. The group that is interested, at this point is Golf Mesquite, and so they would be looking at something that would represent golfing, not advertising specific golf courses, but advertising as a golfing community. So the design would represent something that would, you know, it might look, hopefully it would represent the way that Mesquite looks, but the golfing community in Mesquite as well. So it
I
wouldn't
think,
be an
and I think what
advertising.
Bo's saying is make sure it's chamber driven and not,
Not golf,
Golf.
Mesquite driven.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think
I
that
mean,
we would definitely.
we wanna work with you, we wanna work with the city, anything we can do to beautify that tank, but the last thing we want is 10 years from now having a gearbox to add up there.
yeah.
Right, and I agree. And part of this is that, you know, once the costs are put together, we would like to see what the design looks like and be able to move forward with presenting that. And the other part is being able to make sure that it follows into the city's guidelines as well. And it would be chamber driven.
Well, there couldn't be a worse location for, I mean, that sign, my wife's been here for 14 years in real estate, and she didn't know what I was talking about. You know,
Well,
I mean, you have to look
last year
up
when
to-
they,
You have to look up to see it there.
last
So,
year
and
when
we've been
they
dealing with this
brought it
thing
to
clear
us.
back to when somebody wanted to make it a tea kettle, and then we wanted to make it a turtis. I mean, this has been going on and on and on.
Last year when it came to the Economic Commission, I'm like, oh, what thing?
Yeah, and this isn't anything new.
And I actually drove the freeway to find it, but then
Yeah.
I was actually in a business on Sandhill today and looked out the door and I went, oh, the tank's right there.
But I
So
did my
it is
last
nice.
trip to Salt Lake, pay attention, there's 2 signs in that 350, 3 water tanks in that 350 miles. In both cases, they got the city on there, period.
Mhm.
So, and most of our ratepayers aren't in favor of this, that I've talked to. I haven't found one that was.
That is in favor of having a sign on that, or
Yeah,
just?
what's wrong with just leaving it alone, because they
Yeah.
don't see any value to it? And who's gonna, the maintenance down the road is gonna be the problem. And unless you guys come up with something where you're gonna put some money in escrow or something for the next 5 years when you're gonna have to repaint it,
Mhm.
I mean, it's a bad idea, it really is. It just doesn't serve any purpose. The location is wrong. If you're coming from the north, the first thing you see when you come over the hill is Eureka, which is a neon sign, and then the next thing you see is another neon sign by Virgin River. Third thing is another neon sign with a leaderboard from Virgin River. You're not gonna look up to see that tank, so you don't get anybody from the north on the freeway. And the same way coming from the south. I mean, you've got to specifically look up to see that sign. And unless you're gonna put some bright red blinking colors up there, nobody's gonna look at it. So I don't know why why you want it up there.
Well, I think just what I would like to see up there is something that represents Mesquite, just something different. Now, like I said.
But who's your customer? Who are you trying to reach to?
I'm just saying, but it's, we've got X amount of cars that come down through, along I-15, we're in I-15 corridor.
I-15's not gonna see that up there. They're gonna miss it just bigger than devil. It's right in the middle of the town. I mean, somebody's not gonna go from a neon sign like at Virgin River and, oh, there's a sign up, there's something up there written on that tank. It's not gonna happen.
You know, and I appreciate what Ted's saying, I agree with a lot of the maintenance thing was an issue of mine, but I disagree in the fact that I think it's a great idea for the chamber of the city to put a message up there. I think having something nice up there, to me, when I pull in a community and see, like Alamo, they have the home of the Panthers and, it's way gone, cause it's not
Yeah,
really,
he did.
it's not really nicely
got
done,
paged.
but, it's Alamo, so.
What do you expect?
But I mean, to me, it says this city cares about their community.
Well,
so-
and typically for me is, I only notice them if there's riding on them. So, I mean, I could do the same 350 miles and point out the same three that you see. Because,
Enoch has a nice one.
But, yeah, they do. And the other thing is that even the three that are paid by the city, it just basically is a city sign. It's not necessarily representing that city. Now, whether it pulls 10,000 people off the road, I don't think that's the case. But I think having something nice in the city that goes along with the rest of what the city's tried to do, which is, aesthetically pleasing, I think that the recommendation of having some funds in the keeping up the maintenance, there's a lot of people that notice that Vista Del Monte water tower, and that's been up there for almost, 12 years now, and they're just barely getting to the point of redoing it, repainting it too. So I think as long as that we're working, the water district, the chamber, and the city are working together, I think that we can always pull those funds together to always keep it maintained and beautified. There is organizations besides the chamber that are always looking for ways to beautify, and that could be another project that they
Like the
pick up.
Rotary Club. Or
The Rotary Club
Yeah.
is the Lions and.
Eagle Scout projects.
Exactly. I've got a son that'll probably be about that age where he'll be up there painting that for his Eagle Scout.
Mike, I think it could be an important thing for us, because I think one of the problems that Mesquite has now is that we were at one time, we were probably one of the most positive, fastest growing communities in the whole country. And we've lost a lot of our positive sense that we had at one time. I think a good positive message on there, it has nothing to do, it can have, if you wanna say the greatest golf in the world, that's not promoting a golf course, that's promoting Mesquite. Or if you wanna say something else, but I think some real positive, something very positive up there
I think so too,
could really benefit the community.
Is, another thing, Ted, is we both come down from Utah, and we had our license plate that said the greatest snow on earth, and, I've skied it, most of my life, and not skiing in a lot of other areas, I never realized that we did have the greatest snow on earth. I always thought that was a really kind of prideful thing to say, to put on a license plate and promote that we've got the greatest.
No, it was true.
But it was true, because after I went to, what is it, Big Bear and up to Bend and a few other places and slipped on ice and rocks, yeah, powder to your chest is awesome. And,
Oh, in your face first like me, but.
but it's a lot better in powder than it is in slush.
I don't know why we couldn't let you, give you a blessing to go ahead and
we'll
bring
put it.
back to us
Okay.
a plan.
Is that a motion?
What's good, no. Not yet.
Not yet.
The president hasn't asked for a motion,
But
but,
I think we could put a positive, and I think that
Positive.
Mesquite is the greatest golf team on earth, and we could public.
Well, okay,
publicize
I'll,
the crap out of it.
you know, everybody's an advertising expert, including me. And
You're the one that wanna put red lights up.
That's right.
And if you want red lights,
We're
Ted,
going,
we'll
you're
put,
advertising.
I'll ask if Golf Mesquite wants to put red lights around it.
Yeah, there's been numerous
not have
focus
a red light
groups around the
district in
United
Mesquite.
States, and unless you have an interest in it, you don't read it, so. I'll ask for a motion.
I'm willing to make a motion.
Okay.
I believe that we should move forward and let the Mesquite Chamber of Commerce bring back a community value message to the water board in regards to our freeway tank.
I have a motion
I'll second it.
and a second. Call for the vote.
Aye.
3 against, 1 opposed.
3-4, 1 opposed. I like the way you counted.